this is a problem again. We're doing an EBIT earnings per share analysis. First video I showed you really the end of the problem, which by the way I'm going to show you again right after this video. But right now we're going to find what's called the indifference point. Some people like to call it the crossover point. But this is the level of EBIT where the earnings per share under one capital structure is equal to the earnings per share under the other capital structure. In this case, structures A and B. Now, we're looking for the level of EBIT that has set the earnings per share equal to 0. Now, one thing you have to understand is how to calculate earnings per share. And we talked about this in a previous video, but I'll go through it again right now. Earnings per share is the earnings available to the shareholder divided by the number of shares outstanding. So in the numerator, we have EBIT minus your interest expense. That would give you earnings before taxes. And if you multiply earnings before taxes times 1 minus the tax rate, that's how much money the company would get to keep, which is net income. Subtract from that any preferred dividends that you owe, and that would give you earnings available to the shareholder. Divide that by the number of shares outstanding, that gets you earnings per share. And so that's the formula that we're going to employ in order to find our crossover point or indifference point. And we want to find the EBIT that is set earnings per share under capital structure A equal to earnings per share under capital structure B. Now let's remember that in this particular problem, there's no preferred dividends, so that kind of drops out of the equation here. And so if we were going to calculate earnings per share for capital structure A, we would need to know the EBIT under capital structure A, which is what we don't know, minus the interest expense, which is $16,000, multiplied by 1 minus the tax rate, and they told us the tax rate was 40%. Capital structure A now results in 4,000 shares outstanding, common stock. Capital structure B, on the other hand, we would look, again, looking for EBIT. We'd subtract the interest expense, which is under that capital structure, $34,000. Multiply all that by 1 minus the tax rate, which again is 40%. And capital structure B uses more debt, less equity. Under capital structure B, you're only going to be using 2,000 shares of common stock. To simplify the equations, we multiply 0.6 by EBIT, and we get 0.6 EBIT. 0.6 times 16,000 would get us 9,600, and of course, divided by 4,000. We do the same simplification over here. We get 0.6 EBIT minus 20,400 divided by 2,000. To clear the denominators now, we'll cross-multiply. We're going to multiply this denominator by this numerator, this denominator by this numerator. So 2,000 times 0.6 EBIT is 1,200 EBIT, and 2,000 times a negative 9,600 is a negative 19,200,000. On the other side, 0.6 times 4,000 is 2,400 EBIT, and a negative 20,400 times 4,000 is a negative 81,600,000. 2,400 minus 1,200 EBIT gives us 1,200 EBIT, and 81,600,000 minus 19,200,000 gets us 62,400,000. Solve that for EBIT, you find that the indifference point, the crossover point, is $52,000. So for this company, if they generate $52,000 of EBIT, it wouldn't make any difference whether they go with capital structure A or capital structure B. It would result in the same earnings per share. So this is how you calculate the indifference point or the crossover point when you do an EBIT earnings per share analysis. Again, in the next video, I'm going to put up the end of the problem again and discuss what we would do, what our decision making apparatus would be.